Welcome to my fellow ASTE community and all who join us today. Our 2026 conference may be over, but the learning is not stopping. My name is Melody McAllister, and as the director of ASTE, I'd like to welcome Zareen from Padlet, one of our newest sponsors, as the first in our post-ASTE webinar series. But before we get started, I just want to share that having Padlet as part of ASTE is meaningful to me because it is one of my favorite EdTech tools. 2 years ago in a multimedia class I offered at Stream Middle School in Anchorage, one of my 8th graders started using it as a weekly photo contest with our online school newspaper. I used those photos as an end-of-the-year slideshow. The ease of using Padlet really stood out to me. It is for all levels of EdTech users, from students to beginning teachers to the most savvy among us. Today, our viewers will receive a 60-day premium subscription, and one ASTE member will win a $25 Visa gift card. So please say hello and tell us where you're coming in from. But without further ado, let me introduce Zareen from Padlet. She is going to share a webinar called the Padlet Remix, Supercharged Collaboration and AI Tools. Zareen, how are you today? And we'd love to know a little bit more about you before we get started.
Well, I'm doing great. So thank you so much for having me. It's great to meet the ASTE community and excited to share lots of things about Padlet with you all. Padlet is always launching lots of new things, so it's fun to get an opportunity to share some of those activities and ideas and new tools that we have. A little bit more about myself. I'm calling in from San Francisco right now. It's where I currently live. I grew up in Boston, so I'm from there originally. And actually, my brother used to live in Alaska. So excited to connect with this community. I was a teacher for many years in San Francisco, and then I was an instructional coach. So I helped teachers K-12 use a lot of digital tools. And then I was the director of digital learning for the San Francisco district for a few years before I joined Padlet. And now I've been at Padlet for 2 years as the education marketing manager. And I get to do a lot of fun things like this, where I get to meet different communities. Maybe it's a specific school, or maybe it's a whole community like this one. And I get to show you all my favorite things in Padlet.
Yay, I am so glad that you are joining us today. I can't wait to know more about Padlet and just new ways to integrate it. And also, y'all, I'm going to invite you to our Facebook community for ASTE, where we've already started talking about different ways that we use Padlet in our classrooms. And I'm sorry. And Zareen, is this a good time to share about the resources that everybody can tune into?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll be sharing, so you have the resources right here, and I'll be walking you through this Padlet. Of course, I have all my resources on a Padlet instead of a slide deck, since we like to kind of showcase it in a lot of different ways. So I'll be sharing my screen and walking you through some different activities. You're welcome to use any of these activities. You can play along with me during this webinar if you want to, or you can kind of watch and just see what some of the different possibilities are. But I'm going to start us off with this poll. So if you want to come to this link, I have a couple of different openers. And I like to say that if you want to try out using Padlet, maybe you're newer to Padlet, maybe you're experienced with Padlet, and you might just want to try it for a quick activity with your students to get started. And so I have 3 kind of quick activities to get us started that I thought we would jump into. The first one is a fun poll. So if you come to this page, this teach.link.ast that's in the chat right now, you click into this poll, you'll be able to participate here. And this is something that I've done with students. I was teaching an elective to middle school students last semester, and we started out with just some fun polls like this to get to know each other a little bit. So students can come in here and vote on things. You could make up your own questions, or you could even have students come up with their own questions. And then it's a fun way that you can get to know each other. It was fun in this particular middle school class that I did this in. Turned out that everyone really loved cats, which I didn't expect. I also have a cat and really like cats. And it helped me connect with students, just like a quick instant connection that I wouldn't have learned otherwise. So I think about some of these kind of get to know you quick openers as a way for students to share things about themselves, and then also things that you can then use. And so after I learned that everyone loved cats, then I started kind of putting in fun little gifs of cats in some of my presentations or using it as an example. And it was just a fun little thing that got students gets excited. So again, you can make up your own questions here. I'll go through a little bit more of a step-by-step for those of you who are newer to Padlet, but all these different pages that I'm showing you, there's a few different formats. Like you might have seen Padlet before, but you might not have seen polls on Padlet. And it's just one of the many things you can do on Padlet. When I make a Padlet, and I'll take you more step by step, but just give you a little preview. When I come and make a post on Padlet, I can put all of these different kinds of things on Padlet. So I could make a poll, I could put an image or a link or a YouTube video, or I could even put a Spotify song, or I could record my own video or audio. So these are tools that you have access to if you're making an activity, and also tools that students have access to if you want them to be the creators and make some different things. Great, so I see a few little votes on here. The next one I'll show you as another kind of format is this map format. So you can ask a lot of different kinds of questions on maps. I've seen some really creative things from teachers where you can ask where people are from. You can ask something more local, like what's your favorite restaurant in our city? Or you can have a historical map. So let's find out all the historical points of Alaskan history or something like that. And you can plot those on a map. And this works like many other Padlets where you click on the post button to get started. So if you're playing along at home, you can come here and click on the post button. And the only different thing is first it asks you for a location. So you can talk about where you're from. I put in the notes here, talk about a favorite place, restaurant, or landmark where you're from or where you live now. So I might come in here and I'm going to search for Golden Gate Park as a place that I like in San Francisco. Maybe I'll look at some images. And so it's really easy for all different kinds of students to come in here and post on a map or on any other kind of Padlet. So now I have a map. It'll zoom in for me if I want, if I just have one post on there, but as you add more posts, you can zoom in or out. That's another kind of fun thing about maps. It's based on Google Maps. So it's fully interactive. So you can put posts on a map and it's not just a static background. You can have a very zoomed in map just about your city, or you can have a global map about earthquakes all over the world or famous landmarks or anything else you want to put on a map. And you can have posts with all kinds of multimedia in there.
Zareen, as you were showing this, is this something that I could collaborate with another classroom across, like from Anchorage to San Francisco?
Yeah, that's such a great idea. We've seen a few classes do this on a map, and it could be on a regular Padlet or on a map Padlet. And with all of these links, you can make a Padlet and then you can decide who you want to share it with. If you want to keep it private for just your students, you can do that. Or if you want to share it with another school, and it's like the modern day pen pals, except you can do it on a Padlet and have students post on it. Some of the really cool ones I've seen are like, a school in San Francisco could have students post on it, and then the class in Anchorage, Alaska, or wherever could comment on those posts, or maybe ask some questions like, what is it like over there? Or what kind of foods do you like? And they could be kind of a conversation on a Padlet as well.
Oh, I love that. One of our community members, Pam, she's amazing. She's one of my first ASTE friends. She says, I used maps during COVID to share virtual tours from around the world. I was able to pin them on location and color code the pins for webcams, VRs, etc. And then she says, this is a lot more interactive than it was in 2020. And I have to agree.
That's so great to hear. Wow, what a cool use case of that. I think it's been interesting since COVID. People tried doing some different things with Padlet, and some of them they're thinking, oh, well, actually, this would be great to keep doing. So things like that, where students get to explore virtual museums or locations in different places. And you're right, we keep kind of adding on different things to Padlet and to maps to make it look even better.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, great questions and comments. I'll share one more here. This is a sandbox. So this is what we call our whiteboards within Padlet. It's another newer tool. So people who used Padlet a few years ago might not have seen that we now have whiteboards. So this works like other whiteboards if you've used things like Google Jamboard, unfortunately no longer around, but it does all the same things that you're kind of used to. So here I have a question. If you want to come on here, what are you looking forward to spring break? I know that a lot of people are looking forward to just like sleeping and rest. I could put some text in there. I could put a Post-it in here, maybe like traveling to see my family. So this is something that you can do with students, and you can brainstorm about something. You can put shapes on here. So I could draw maybe something like this, and I could write in that. So feel free to add something on here as well if you want to. All the tools are down the right-hand side here, and we even have some little emoji stickers. So students often love to kind of play with these, and you can have a lot of fun doing some different activities. And these are very easy to set up. For example, this whiteboard that I set up, all I did was make a blank whiteboard and I asked a question here. And then I shared this link, and now people can come on here and make use of all our different attachments. This is also a unique thing about Padlet, where in addition to those usual whiteboard tools, you still have all of these other attachment types. So I can still put in a YouTube video, or I can put in, I can take a picture of myself on here, or I can search for another image about something. Like I was looking at things in San Francisco, so maybe I'll look for the Golden Gate Bridge, and I can drop a picture in here. So you can be very creative with these whiteboards. Oh, good. I see some comments on here about reading, spending time doing crafting. What a great idea. Hope you all have lovely spring breaks, whether you're traveling or just getting some downtime or some hobby time.
Yeah. I was going to say, this also made me think of something I'd like to use it as a check-in in the morning. Just, can we pick up a GIF and say, describe how you're feeling this morning, or whatever period you're coming into? And I think that would be fun. And it doesn't necessarily show our students' names. Like, it would just be just a safe check-in, kind of something that could be humorous, or also to let us know that some people are coming in with some big emotions today.
So yeah, such a great idea. I think it's a perfect use case for this, to do those kind of quick check-ins. I know my kids in their classroom, now they're in 7th and 9th grader, but when they were in elementary school, they had a physical poster that I really loved. I thought it was really neat. It's called the mood meter. I don't know if you played with that as well. And actually,
I love that.
We have something similar in here. If you start from a template, and I was going to show this later, but you asked me about it, so I'm going to jump ahead. You can start a whiteboard from a template as well. And so we have a lot of built-in things here that
yes,
instruction. And we do have some SEL things as well. I believe we have one that's like a mood, like a mood meter. How are you feeling today? Or it can be more of a full graph. So you could just take this template and share it with students, and they could drop their name if they wanted to, or they could just put an emoji sticker so it's not identifying, if that feels safer for students. And you can kind of get a pulse check of how everyone's doing.
Oh, I love that. We do have a question coming in. Darmar says, am I correct in thinking that these tools can be used synchronously and or asynchronously?
Tongue twister. Absolutely. Yeah. And we see a lot of use in both of those scenarios. So you can use it live together in a classroom and do everything at the same time. Or if you wanted to have this up for the week and have students come and do it at their own pace, or for homework, or, maybe students come and post things and then comment on it later. It's up to you if you want to do it all together or space it out.
I really love that.
Great question. Okay, great. So I wanted to give you kind of a quick taste of a few different Padlets before I go a little bit more step by step into Padlet. Sounds like we have a few people who know some things about Padlet already, so that's great to hear. And I'm going to take us through some other fun things. Okay, let me go over here. So I'm on a Padlet. Some people aren't aware of the different formats of Padlet. So oftentimes you see kind of columns or the posts all together. This particular format is a grid format where I have some different groupings of things. So I'll show you how to choose that when you're making a Padlet in a moment. One other fairly new feature that we have is playing a Padlet as a slideshow. So here I have all my resources on a Padlet, and I want to share this with a group like we are right now. And so I can come down to the 3 dots and start a slideshow from any post. Or I also have a button at the top here that's just playing the whole thing as a slideshow. So I'm going to jump ahead to this one. And it's nice because I don't have to do any extra formatting. I can put resources on a Padlet, and then I can present it for my class or for a presentation with colleagues like this. So we'll do a little bit more getting started. I know that some people have used Padlet already, but I'll show you some new things. We just launched a new make page, so it looks a little bit different and highlights some of the different formats that are possible. Then I'll show you my favorite 3 powerful features. And a lot of our features are, since we've built Padlet over many years and we keep adding new things to it, some of our features launch and people don't quite hear about them at first. So it's great to get an opportunity to share with you all and show you some of the new powerful things that might help with your instruction. We also have some new AI capabilities. If you want to use them, they're there for you. So that's up to you. And then I'll leave you with some other resources if you want to do more learning or go a little deeper into Padlet after this session.
Wonderful.
Okay, so the next thing I want to share with you is there's, I'll just orient you to the Padlet site. So I'm going to come over to padlet.com. And if you don't already have a Padlet ID, you can just make your own Padlet login for free. And you can use all the features that I'm showing you today for free. And the only limitation is that you can just make 3 Padlet boards at a time. And then if you want to make more, you either delete the ones you have to replace them, or you get one of our subscriptions. However, we have a special promotion today. At the end of the session, we'll share a free 60-day link where you can get access to premium, which means you can make unlimited Padlets for the next 2 months. It'll take you probably almost through the end of the school year, and you can get just access to making more Padlets. I think as I share more of these examples, you'll see, wow, there's a lot you can do with Padlet. So having access to make more can be really helpful to kind of feel how rich these different opportunities are. So coming over to the Make page here, if you've come to Padlet before, this page might look quite different. It was relaunched just a couple weeks ago. We used to just have like a simple plus button here where you could make a Padlet, and now we have all of these different formats highlighted. This functionality was already there, but it was a little bit more hidden. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone could see some of the different things that are possible on Padlet. So if you're not sure where to start, I would just click on this first button and make a Padlet wall. This is kind of the traditional Padlet that you're probably most familiar with. So we could say, how are you feeling today? Taking that idea, you could do it on a whiteboard, or you could do it on a Padlet here. And you could start with a simple question like this and then share this Padlet board with students. Now, if I wanted to do some other formats, I'll come back to the Make page here. Like we were playing with that map. Here, I could click on Map right here. And when I open that up, I can still see all the formats here. If I change my mind, say, oh, actually, maybe I don't want to do a map. Maybe I'll go and do a table or columns or grid. I can do any of those formats. So here is a map. So if I wanted to make a map, like earlier was being shared, showing people some virtual tours of different things. I had one teacher recently, a teacher librarian, tell me they made a book map, which I thought was a neat idea, where students posted posts based on the setting of their books. So when they read a book after they were done, they came over here and said where the book took place. So if the book took place in Boston, I would make a post there, and then I would put maybe the book title here. And then I would write my review about the book or put an image of the book there. So that was kind of a neat idea for a map as well. And then this is also, back to the Make page one more time, this is also where you can make whiteboards. That's the new kind of format of Padlet that I was just showing you. And this gives you some capabilities to jump directly to some of those templates. So if I want to click into the whiteboard, or I could also continue exploring the templates once I get inside here, and then I can explore a bit more. And again, you can make it complicated, or you can keep it really simple when you make a new board or a new sandbox. If you want to just ask a question and have it be a quick check-in with students, that's great. Or if you want it to be a longer-term project where students continue to add to it over time, you can do those kinds of things as well.
Yeah, I really love the Frayer model. I kind of modify it to do some vocabulary studies with my kids. I've used it for years, but I love being able to do this like and have them interact with it. And there was something else I saw that just like in Alaska, we have the Alaska Reads Act, and just using a lot of these graphic organizers is something that like I teach in the 3rd grade. It's just, oh yeah, there we go. I love that so much. I'm already starting to see, and the Venn diagram. I mean, these have been around for a long time, but they really do enhance like what we're doing already. And the number line, yes, in our math. Just, this is incredible. And honestly, I'm so glad you're doing this because I had no idea that this existed on it. So thank you.
I'm glad to share it. I think a lot of people haven't seen a lot of these things. It's so funny that you mentioned that. I used to teach 3rd grade. That was a grade that I taught for the longest as well. And so I was resonating a lot with a lot of these things as well. We used to use the Frayer model, or sometimes we'd use it for like a number talk. We used to do these different reflections. So I think there's a lot in here that get you started quickly, and you don't have to build these all from scratch.
Yeah.
if you do use these templates, you can also edit them though. So maybe I want to change this question or something, what do you like, or something like that. I can change any of these, or I can add my own. Maybe I have my own example I want to share. And so it just gets you started. You can use it just the way it is, or if you want to modify it a little bit, you can do that too.
That's
Cool.
great.
And I'll show you one other thing on the make page. I keep kind of jumping back here. There's some examples here too, and it's a little bit hidden with this new kind of design. But if you want to see some more ideas for different Padlets, there's a bunch of, and it kind of highlights some of the different formats, whether you want another map or kind of a video discussion board. Students could post videos and make comments on it.
Wow.
There's a lot of possibilities, and sometimes just seeing the examples helps you come up with more ideas. Oh, this was in another language. I'll just read.
Is it okay if I say that this feels like we're getting Flipgrid back in a little bit? Because this is amazing.
It is definitely okay if you say that. We all miss Flipgrid, and we loved that tool as well. And actually, when Flipgrid went away, we already had video built into Padlet, but we realized that people really wanted some of the other features that Flipgrid had. So we allowed video, like a video comment on a video, and closed captioning, and some of these other things that we hadn't built yet. We thought, okay, let's just add these. And then if people really wanted to do exactly what they did in Flipgrid, they can still do that.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I love that.
Yeah, so lots of possibilities. You can do things like timelines. And there's just, it's just that there's a lot of possibilities. So finding kind of the thing that you want to do in Padlet, and then choosing the format, or just exploring the examples and seeing what kind of resonates with you. I'll show you a couple of kind of popular things that people often do in Padlet to help kind of spark some ideas. Just going to keep going here. It's just taking a moment.
While you find that, our board president, Anthony White, has commented, I love Padlet at the end of the newsletters. P.S. Don't forget, you're beautiful. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's our little tagline for those that haven't read those newsletters. We often remind people that they are beautiful. We have some other pens and different things that say, just remember that you're beautiful. So you'll see that tagline from time to time. Great. So let me show you two very common ways that we see people using Padlet. One is a discussion board, and that discussion can be about a lot of things. It could just be debating something. It could be their opinion about something. It could be about a book that you read and you're discussing. And this one I thought was a neat example in math, because some people use it a lot for reading and language arts, and there's also a lot of nice uses in math. So this particular one was also a discussion board, but it's a math discussion board. And so students actually wrote their own math word problems here. And you can kind of tell they're showing their personalities here. They're supposed to write about something that they really loved. And so some are writing about video games or food or pets or all different kinds of things. And they're using a lot of different media types I was sharing before that they have access to. Some students even wrote something on paper and took a picture of that. So that's something you can do on a Padlet also.
I love it. Math talks. Yeah. Book report, like the virtual book report, but a lot less intimidating. This is great.
Yeah, and very easy to update, and you can make it look pretty and have fun backgrounds, but it's simple for students of any ages to kind of set that up. And it allows them, one thing I love about Padlet is I feel like it encourages students to learn from each other and to be creative and share their own ideas.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I love tools that are all about creating community, and this definitely sparks that. Engaging with one another in a healthy way, and just even I'm thinking, like, if I'm teaching something, a new concept, and there, the virtual parking lot, just to be able to answer questions, boom, boom, boom. This is really great. I don't think it would take long to train your students how to do this. Even my third graders, I think, would be able to pick up this pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's something I love about Padlet. I feel like it's a quick learning curve, so you can spend most of their thinking time can be about the content, about your learning objectives. And it's not most of the time figuring out where to click or how to do the settings. Right. They learn that stuff quickly. I've done it with students as young as first grade, and very quickly they catch on and they don't have much trouble. It's pretty intuitive, finding the plus sign and that kind of thing.
That's great.
Another thing I really like about Padlet is I think it encourages students to make their thinking visible, and it gives them a lot of different ways to show their thinking. So whether they're expressing their personality with images or text, or they could use some of these other tools. They could record their voice explaining something, or take a video like we saw in that Flipgrid-esque example. So they have a lot of different choices for how to express themselves.
That's great. And I'm sorry, I need to find a new, I need a thesaurus, people. It's wonderful. I, but I mean, yes, make your learning visual, and bring your classroom together to build that community. I mean, this is a wonderful resource, and I'm definitely in. And if you're just now tuning in, stay to the end. We are actually going to be able to receive a 60-day premium Padlet subscription. So it is definitely worth sticking around.
Great, thanks so much. And I'll show you one other pretty common usage that a lot of teachers have found really useful. So, those interactive examples are great. And sometimes you want to do those fun things where every student is on their device. And sometimes it's just helpful to have a landing page of resources, whether that's for yourself or for students. So this is from a Spanish language teacher, and she just wanted to put she had all these different videos and links and games and PDFs, and she can put it all on a Padlet. And then it's very visual. It's easy to kind of scan here and be like, oh, where was that? Oh, here's that deck I was looking for. So of course you could do this on a document as well, but having all these visuals and being able to see it all can be a really nice way to collect your information.
Yeah, and share with parents too for home, like that bridge connection. What was the question I was going to ask? Can students manipulate this on their end?
Yeah, great question. So that's up to you with your sharing settings. So that's a perfect segue. I'm going to just click on the sharing arrow right here. So I can decide if I want students to be able to add posts and manipulate this Padlet, or if I just want them to read the Padlet. So this Padlet right now is set on reader, but I can come here and I can change it. I can let them comment on things. I can let them write on it, or there might even be some cases where I want them to be the moderators of the Padlet and edit and delete and move things around. So I can choose what access they have.
Awesome.
And then one more piece, if I have a Padlet for Schools account, we even have a few more settings. So I can keep the Padlet just private within my school, and we can connect up to your school login. So whatever login students already have, we can integrate with that. And then it can be like a walled garden just for your students to be part of your Padlets.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, this is such a great resource for the ease of joining in, like for your Canva, if you're doing a project with Canva, and just, even the GIMP kit, that's super popular. I love how you're able to integrate so many of our favorite apps in one place. And yes, we have Clever as well, but this just puts everything together that, like, it's more personal for what we're learning in our class. I like it.
Yeah, that's what I love about it too. It's very personal. It's not intimidating to make. It's not like you have to build a whole website and do a whole thing. You can just make a Padlet. You saw how quick it was when I made a blank Padlet, and I can change it quickly too. If I want to come and delete this or edit it or add another resource, it can be a real living document that like you said, I can either share it with parents, I can share with colleagues, or it could be like a syllabus or a landing page for my class if I wanted to.
Oh my gosh. And I'm even thinking like I could just make one specifically for parents too,
Sure.
just to share out and even creating books. And then I want to say, Anthony says there are some great moderation features as well. So thank you for tuning in, Anthony. And Pamela says you're able to curate just the resources you need at the time. And love it. Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks for those comments. And thanks for the comment about moderation. Let me show folks that if you're not aware of that, along with your, that's the sharing settings, along with your board settings here, I can scroll down. I have a lot of things I can customize about the look of the board, the color scheme, the background, the format. And then we were just speaking about the moderation. So this is a nice feature that we have. We have a few different options here. And this means when visitors or students are making posts on the board, what do you want to happen? Do you want them to just go up right away and everyone can see them? Sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes you want to approve everything before it goes live. So I could set it to a manual approval. And then that would mean that I have to click on approve. I can click on approve all also. So as students are posting things, I can just kind of do a quick check. And then we have this kind of in-between option, which can also be a nice choice. It's our automatic moderation. So if you mostly want things to go up live, but this will just flag something that is obviously inappropriate, either inappropriate word or inappropriate audio or video, it'll flag that for you. So that's your kind of in-between option.
Love it. Our own built-in teacher assistant.
Yeah, right. So yes, lots of different tools for you. And those are, so those are a couple of the kind of very popular examples, those discussion boards or also that resource landing page. And those are also good places to start. If you're either new to Padlet or coming back to it, maybe you used it before, you can make a quick discussion board, or you can just make something that's just for yourself to get started, make a resource page and just kind of get familiar with some of those tools in Padlet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I'm going to take you into three of my favorite features. And these are also, might be new, might be familiar to people. The first one I'm going to share is, this is an example of students making their own podcasts. This was from another teacher that I thought was a really neat idea. So instead of, there's lots of tools that can make podcasts. One thing that I love about Padlet is so many different things are built in here. So I don't have to go to a separate tool when I want to do a book report and when I want to do a podcast and when I want to do a comic strip. I can do all of those things in Padlet. So the students don't have to relearn the tool every time we're doing a different project.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So this is new? Is this new?
So I'll show you the new part. I'm getting there. This is a regular Padlet. So I've just made a regular Padlet wall here, and students came here and made a post, and they created an AI image. And that's what these images are, these cover images. So they wrote a piece with their podcast, and then they made an AI image. They also could draw an image or find an image a different way if they wanted to. They put their description in, and then they came down here and they added a comment to their own post and recorded their audio right here. So they didn't even have to record that audio somewhere else. They can do that right here. And now I have a little showcase of their image, their description, and their audio recording of their own podcast.
Oh, that is cool. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So really fun. You can do fun projects like this. And you might have noticed that this looks a little bit different when I came to the post. It doesn't have all the options anymore. It just had that one option. And it has a specific question. What topic are you covering? And I have some choices here. So that's the new tool I wanted to show you. You can customize this post box for students. It says podcast title, and it only has an AI image attachment. So to do that, when I make a board, I come to the plus sign, and then I go click on fields here, this little pencil here. And here's where I can change everything about that post box. So I can come to attachments, and I can say, maybe I want to turn all the attachments back on. So now I'm going to save that. And now look, I have all these attachments. Or maybe I want to come back and maybe I want to turn them off, and I'll just give them AI image and maybe drawing and maybe image search or something like that. And now I just have those options. So it helps focus in your learners on exactly the project that you want. That it's like a good reminder that, okay, these are the tools we're using today. And I don't have to tell them or please sit afterwards. I could just have that built into the post box right here.
Right. And everything it just goes along with what we're trying to teach about good digital citizenship as well. I really appreciate that about this.
Nice. So that's the first tool. That's those custom fields. I can make this box. I can put in a sentence frame. I can put in a prompt. I can decide which attachments, and it makes it really focused for our learners.
Yeah. Oh my, I'm really excited. This might be the first way that I introduce. It just takes the ease out, because a lot of times, like student podcasting, previously has been a little bit more difficult, but it's something that I've always loved. And even this year, I've thought, how could I get my third graders into this? And so I really thank you, because I didn't even know this was going to be a part of it, but now I'm really excited about, bringing this into my classroom this year.
Oh, that's great to hear. And I think you're exactly right. I think, there's lots of tools for podcasting. There's a lot of great tools, and those can be great if you really want to maybe edit the audio together and do something that's a longer, more complex project. And then this is a great tool if you want to make a quick recording, either for younger students or maybe a shorter project, or you could do a combination. You could do something in another tool where you do all the audio editing and then link to it from a Padlet. So you have kind of all of those options if you want to do a lighter weight version, or if you want to go in more depth with something like a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, my next tool, we already previewed this a little bit, but it was these sandbox templates. So I'll show you just two other examples of using some of those sandbox templates. So this is an example of making a comic strip in Sandbox. So just like I showed you with those other templates, you can make something with boxes and speech bubbles, and then students could draw or write and make their own comic strip. I've had a lot of teachers say that comic strips are a really nice way for students to have to focus in and distill their thinking to a few words, and it really makes them think about, like, what is the message and what do I want to say and who's my audience? And you kind of practice some of those skills about really being succinct and focused in your message for your writing. And then here's another one. This was another tool that we have where if you have a PDF of something, maybe you have a worksheet of something already, you can actually just drop it into a sandbox. So this is a PDF of all different national parks. And so you could take any worksheet like this, and then students could still use all these tools right on top of it. So you can type in information, I can write text right here, I can record an audio, I can do a drawing right on top of here. So anything that you have, you could take a picture of a physical worksheet that you have and then drop it into a Padlet, and it's very easy to make that happen. For both of those examples, I'll just show you briefly what you would do. So on the Make page, we have this Import PDF button. So you could come here, upload any PDF you have, and it'll drop it into a sandbox for you. And then to go back to the templates, if I started just with a blank whiteboard here, the first thing that pops up on the bottom here is all these templates. And you can preview them, and then you can decide on the one that you want. I was just on the comic strip template. So you can see it makes some boxes for you, and it just makes that process a little bit easier.
And I just want to clarify something, Zareen. So if you're tuning in and you're like, sandbox, why does she keep talking about a sandbox? It's just a word that we use for you to just like get in and start playing around. Zareen, am I saying that right?
Yes, you are right. And it's something that's actually a little bit confusing about Padlet. When we launched our new whiteboard tool, we thought sandbox would be a fun name for it. So with their Padlet sandboxes is also our word for our whiteboard format. Sometimes I just say whiteboard because it can be a little confusing. I'm always saying sandbox this, sandbox that. It's just what we mean when we're talking about this whiteboard format that's very open-ended. Okay, great question. Thanks for clarifying that. And then my third tool here for you is something called auto remake links. So let me show you what this means. So this is a sandbox. This is one of the sandbox templates that has an all about me template here where you can have students fill out a little bit more about themselves. I also made a version that's maybe a little bit more upper grade where it just tells them kind of what to include and they can design the whole page themselves. But you can see something like this would be really fun for students to do, but it's more of an individual activity. And so Padlet can be collaborative or it can be more individual. But for this one, you probably want every student to have their own copy instead of all of us going onto this one Padlet. So we have a tool for that. So if you come to the sharing arrow here, one of our tools is, if you scroll down under sharing, it's called auto remake link. And this means you'll be able to get a link. So I'll be able to get this one link, and then I'll give this link to everybody. And every student that clicks on that link, it'll make them their own copy. So I'll show you what I mean. If I gave that link to students, it's going to make a copy of this, and it has my name on it. And this is my copy of the Padlet now. And for the teacher view, I can see all the copies of Padlets that have been made from my link. So I have a listing of everybody's contributions here. I can click in, let me click into Eliza's version, and I can see what she's filled out in terms of what her favorite things are. And I can keep coming back and forth to all the list of students who have made a copy of this, and I can see their individual work.
So they don't have to share it. It's already
right. They don't have to share it back with me. They don't have to worry about permissions. They just go to the link and they'll make their own copy of this, and then they can fill it out and I'll have access to it.
Oh, yeah, easy.
So yeah, that's a kind of another use if you want to have some more individual creative projects in addition to those great collaborative ones that we have. Great. Okay, so those are kind of my three fun, kind of a little bit more in-depth features. And next I want to show you just a couple of things with AI. So I showed you this a little bit earlier, that students can add their own AI images. And I was talking with some teachers, and I know that some people are excited to use AI and want to use it a lot, and other teachers are maybe like, let's see where it fits. And so I've been talking with different teachers about different creative ways that they use it that really encourage critical thinking. Because I think some of the things that I worry about as a teacher is, are we going to get AI to do everything? Are students still going to have their own thoughts and their own creativity? And so I really liked these ideas that a few teachers shared with me, because the point was to have students do the thinking and to use the AI tool to show their thinking. So in this case, students all read a book. So they read A Wrinkle in Time, and then they had to make their own AI images for their own book cover. So they designed their own book cover, and they had to think, okay, what is the main idea of the book? What was a really important moment in a book? What was an important symbol in the book? And then they can make their own AI image based on that information. So they're not doing the drawing themselves, but they're definitely doing the thinking themselves, and they're using the tool to express that thinking.
Yeah, and so this is actually a really cool project. So I mean, even like these are just great ideas. And the teacher community that you have, like if you go to Padlet, are you able to see all of these ideas or?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'll show you one area of Padlet in a minute where you can see some more kind of more examples. And it's something that we're building right now. We have a new program called the Padlet Belts program, where you kind of progress through different colors. You start with a yellow belt and you go all the way up to a black belt. And we just launched it a couple months ago, and we're looking forward to making that into a community where people can share more examples. It's something that we haven't done much of yet because we've been such a small team. Padlet is a really small company, but I think it's so important. And the more we gather and talk to teachers, the more we see how much everyone wants that. Okay, so that's one example of AI images. Here's another one that I thought was really cool. There was a teacher who was doing a plant unit, and so she used AI images to help students just start this unit. And she had students make up their own plants with different characteristics. So they put an image in here, and then they decided if their plant was poisonous or if their plant was medicinal, what it should look like. And they just made up the different characteristics of that. It was a nice way for them to be creative and to embark upon this unit about plants where they were going to learn about all the functions of real plants. So I really thought that was a cool way to just have that creative thinking and use AI to fuel the creative thinking instead of to limit it, as we worry about sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, bravo to these teachers and students for coming up with these ideas. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think there's so many amazing ideas out there that, as you said, I mean, we just want to kind of gather it all and share more of those. Okay, I'm going to keep us going and show you one area where we have quite a lot of examples, as you were kind of asking about. So this is another very new thing that we have. I'll show you exactly where to find it. So on Padlet, this is our new link for Padlet Arcade. And you can also get there by just going to arcade.padlet.com. And this is a different area of Padlet that instead of making collaborative boards, we're making games. And there is a whole library of games down here. So if I go to all grades, I can see all kinds of different games that were already created. And these are AI generated games that you can play with your students, similar to some other tools you might have used like Kahoot or different online flashcards or fill in the blank or matching games. And so I can come in here, like maybe I'll go to 4th grade and I'll click on, I can also sort or filter by different subject areas. And then I can find a game. And this is a game about making inferences, and you have to match this. So you have to match the inference with what happened here. There's sound if you want it. Let me show you another one. So that's one quick example. And let's see, here's a Greek root words matchup here. So these games are ready to play. And so you have to kind of match the object to the Greek root word that has it in it. So I might drop it over here. And so these games are already available to play. And so you can click share on here, and you can you can give students this link, and then they can come and play this game. So I think I have some games in here that we can try playing, so you can kind of get a better sense of this.
You know, I'm not a proponent of homework. I think that kids should have their lives after school. But like if we're doing something and it's fun and, you know, my students want to keep going at home and learning, this would be excellent. Again, for that bridge from school to home, back to school. Like this is great. And if it's fun, kids want to do it. You know, it doesn't feel like homework. It's just that extra practice, which just gives them, you know, the chance to get more confident in these things.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see there's a lot of different kinds of things here, like a matching game. This is a Latin and Greek root words. I'm not getting very many right here. Oh, I think I saw one. So you can do some matching games like this. Here's an example of a sorting game, different rock types. So these games are already built in, but the other component of this, you can also make your own game. So I can come over to Padlet Arcade and I can look around here and maybe see if I want to play one of these games. Maybe I want to make my own game. So I'm going to enter a topic here. And here, this is really cool because I can just put in a topic. Maybe I want a game about the water cycle, or I can put in a standard here, or I can even upload my own lesson plan and say, make some games about this. And that gets to your point about homework. I have my lesson plan from today, and I want to make some games just directly related to that. I can upload my lesson plan, click build the game. It's going to give me a few different options for formats. And it takes maybe about 60 seconds to build one of these games. And then once it's built, I can continue to edit it. So I can continue to chat with the AI and say, oh, could you change the title? Could you change out the graphics? That kind of thing. But the hope is that you can make really customized games for your own learning objectives, whether it's for homework or just a kind of a brain break or a fun practice in class. So we'll just see what this comes up with. I asked for a water cycle game. So this one is a multiple choice. And then students would have this kind of experience where they would kind of come in here. It would give them some feedback about what's right or wrong. And as you were saying, you could make a couple of these pretty quickly, or you could use the ones in the library, send them home, and you could put them together for students to use.
I love that. We play a game just on paper from our curriculum that's about suffixes and prefixes, or affixes, and this would be so fun. I think this would be even more fun than just doing something on paper. And also building their confidence and their knowledge of what vocabulary means and how it changes with those affixes. There's so many possibilities, and it looks like it just spans all academic areas, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's perfect for that, for different grammar things, language things, but you're right, all different subject areas. You could either make a game, or there's tons of things already in the library that you could make use of.
And we have a comment from Michael. He says, amazing. So like literally, yes, agreed, Michael.
Nice. I want to show you one other thing here. Let me bring this open. So you could also do something like this, where we were talking earlier about a Padlet can be a landing page for a bunch of information. So in this case, I just made a bunch of games. So imagine ninth graders were reading Romeo and Juliet, and I'm just going to make a set of games. Maybe we're doing it in class or maybe for homework, and I posted these on a Padlet. So now students can come in here, and it's kind of like a choice board, and they can come in here and play these different games about Romeo and Juliet, or they could choose which game they want to try out. And you could do a bunch of things like that as part of a unit. So a few different kind of formats, things.
Very nice character development, plot development. Yep, love it.
And just a different way to kind of interact with that. And then in this particular example, I also experiment. These are actually things that my son's class was doing. They had a discussion about important decisions that were made in Romeo and Juliet, and you can have this kind of text discussion. You could also do something like upload a worksheet. I was talking about that earlier, where students just fill it out digitally on a sandbox there. This was a cool idea that the English teacher had, where taking a conversation from Romeo and Juliet and rewriting it in text format. So that was kind of funny as well. And then making a comic strip about this one. The instructions were to change something that happened in Romeo and Juliet. So maybe she actually received the letter and then she didn't take the poison, or something different happened at the ending there.
For sure. Some comments that are coming in, spark creativity and get the kids excited for a new unit. And someone, I think Pam even said something about, earlier about using the comic strips, and just knowing that kids love those graphic novels, and that's a really great way to tie them into literacy and literature. And another thing that I love, Zareen, is that you're showing how this spans from, like you said, as early as first grade, and I know third grade myself, all the way to high school, and that's pretty amazing for a tool to be able to do.
Oh, those are great comments. Yeah, thanks for sharing those. Yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities to be creative and explore these things, as you said, at all different grade levels. All right, so that was a couple of different examples to kind of bring together some of our tools really in this Romeo and Juliet example, where you had some arcade games, you had some Padlet discussion boards, and then some sandboxes where you could draw or kind of be a little bit more open-ended with that comic strip and things like that. All right. I want to put this Padlet into the chat, just closing ideas. If anyone has sparked some new ideas, I'll just open this one up. And if you all want to add a post here of anything you're thinking about, so you can just come to the plus sign here, and maybe you want to try a comic strip. Or I love that idea of arcade games for homework. So if you have any thoughts you want to try adding here, we can just do a little quick brainstorm, and I'll share some other closing resources if you want to go a little deeper and learn more about some of the other new things that we have going on in Padlet. So I'll give you a moment to explore that. And then I will take us over to some other resources. Oh, this is an important one. So if you wanted to sign up for 60 days of free premium access to Padlet, that means you'll be able to make unlimited boards and sandboxes for the next 60 days. And you can really just try out making a lot of these examples. So we have a special link for that, and you can just click through and sign up with that if you're interested in doing that. And then I have some more resources to just learn more about Padlet. So new features from 2025. So this has a bunch of new things that you might have heard about or might want to explore further that we've launched recently. I have a lot more examples. So I always hear from teachers how useful it is to see more examples. So you can drill down into elementary school, secondary, or even higher ed and see just some more ideas. And this is one other thing I should say too. Say you're in one of these examples and maybe you really like this, here's a science experiment track. So they set these up into different columns. Once this loads, here we go, with a column for each student name. And you think, oh, I would love to do something like this. You can come up to the remake button here on any Padlet. It's these double arrows, and you can make your own copy of something. And you can even decide to just copy the admin posts. And that way it'll kind of clear out the student information. You'll get kind of a clean copy of something. So any of these examples that I'm showing you, if you like them, feel free to remake or remix them, and then it'll just help you get started a little bit more quickly.
Yeah, and our community can find that free subscription link in the comments that I just dropped. And I want to say one of our ASTE members, Chris Evers, oh my God, probably going to butcher her last name, Chris Evanson, she just says, and she was one that was talking in our community quite a bit. She uses Padlet quite a bit. She says, I love taking a classic story and making it more mainstream for students. Must have been commenting on the Romeo and Juliet, but thank you, Chris, for being part of our live stream as well.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely. I think, yeah, anything, especially some of those things that maybe happened in another time or another country, letting students kind of make their own current version of that is a really fun exercise for them and for us to see kind of how they translate it. Nice, thanks for that comment. So a few other closing resources here. I showed some examples. We have a YouTube channel and a Learn page, a lot of video content if you'd like to explore something on your own. And then we have also something else new called Padlet.tv. So this has our upcoming webinars. We have one coming up in April, and we're posting some more soon for May and June. And that's other live webinars that are open to everyone, that are free. And then we have past sessions as well up here. So all our recordings of, if you're interested in a particular topic, like collaboration or AI, you can explore a lot of these different past videos. And then lastly, we have some PD courses. So these are short courses, but it'll take you more step-by-step through all the features of Padlet or some of the AI features, and you'll get a certificate at the end of that if that's helpful to you, and just another way to learn a little bit more about Padlet.
This is wonderful. Wonderful. Are we coming to the end of our webinar, Zareen?
Or sadly, I know it always goes by so quickly, but this link that was shared at the beginning has all those things that I've just talked about. So if you want to go back and look at anything, I know we looked at a lot of different things today, but you have this page to walk away with and can click back into any of these examples later too.
I'm totally going to reshare all of this as well. And I'm going to pull up all of the comments. And Zareen, if you would help me, sure. And I'm just going through these. Let me see if I can just yep, I'm just going to use the thing. And when you say stop, I'm going to go to the closest comment that you say stop. And as long as you're an ASTE member, you can win a Visa gift card. If you're not an ASTE member, you just go to aste.org and you can easily become a member. There is a small charge, but it goes to our organization. We're a nonprofit, and we are the only kind of organization in the state of Alaska for ed tech teachers. So we definitely, but yeah, so Zareen, whenever you tell me to stop, I will pull out a winner.
Okay, and stop.
All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Pamela, she's dedicated. I don't mind. She's always part of it. Pamela, you do win our $25 Visa gift card. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping me, Zareen, to find that. I appreciate it. I loved all of the resources that you shared today, all of the different activities. Totally blew my mind. And if you were a fan of this, I will continue to drop the links. Make sure that you come to our Facebook community, find that. And also our next webinar is actually going to be next week on Thursday. And it's going to be, if you met Pete from Brisk Teaching, he's going to be our next webinar. So we hope that you will stay in touch with us and keep doing this. But Zareen, this was absolutely phenomenal. Remember that everybody gets to win today. Even if you didn't get that Visa gift card, you get to have a 60-day premium subscription from Padlet, which is amazing. Thank you, Padlet, for sharing that with us, because that was going to take me to the end of the school year. And I'm so excited to implement many of these ideas into the last couple of months of our school year. Thank you again. And thank you for everybody for joining in, our ASTE members, and anywhere you were. We appreciate you so much. And we've got some comments, so I want to make sure. Yes. I get a little, there we go. Oh my gosh, here's some comments. Pam says, thanks. Dar says, thanks for making us all winners today. Yay! Yes, and congratulations, Pamela. Yes, we got so many people joining in. This is great. Thank you guys so much. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Zareen, thank you for taking time to be with us. If you don't mind sticking around after I do the outro. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.